the vote bank of the NDC. It has 18 constituencies, and this year we are looking at more than 1 million registered voters who will be voting in this year's election in the Volta region. Now, if you take a look at the 7 regions that has more than 1 million registered voters, Volta region is one of them. It crossed the line this year in terms of the registration. Now, out of the 15 or the 18 constituencies in the Volta region, the NDC won all of them. But there were 15 constituencies that they actually dropped votes in terms of their vote share against the NPP, and that's what we'll be analyzing.
Okay.
But before that, let's look at how the Volta region has been voting since 1996 to the 2020 elections. And just like you see, this is a stronghold of the NDC. Why is it a stronghold? Because it's not just a place that the NDC win. When they win big. Just like you see in 1996, they won by 94.9%.
Where we represent the NDC.
The NDC and blue is the MPP.
Okay.
Almost 95% of the total valid vote cast in the Volta region in 1996. But in 2000, we see there was a significant change or drop in that vote from 95 to somewhere around 87.5. And as you can see, they've always won above 80%. So if NDC is winning the Volta region, their threshold it doesn't go beyond 80%. They will definitely win above 80%. But in the 2020 general election, in terms of the presidential, something interesting happened in the Volta region that we need to tell the stories behind the numbers. What happened? We see the Volta region dropping from as high as 95% of the total valid vote cast to I think somewhere around 80, almost 85 or 84.8. Now see, the Volta region the NDC is on a decline in the Volta region from 91.4% in the 2012 election. That brought John Dramani Mahama to his first presidential, election win in 2012. But what we see is that right after 2012, the Volta region has been declining in terms of, the numbers from 91.4 to 87.7. Now we are talking about 84.8. So definitely, this is a stronghold or a region that the NDC know they will win definitely, but they will be concerned about the drop in the vote. Not just the NDC dropping, but you can see, if you look at it from the blue side, the NPP is on a good momentum. They used to get just somewhere around 4.4% of the total valid vote cast in the Volta region. Now we are talking about 14.1.
They should be
adding more than 10 percentage points since 1996. This is a stronghold of the NDC. And so if you are on a good run, on a good trajectory, or you are increasing in votes, it's something that we need to analyze and tell the story behind the numbers. But why did the NDC drop from somewhere 91.4 to 87.7 to 84.8 in the 2020 election? Let's tell the story. Now, if you look at this, chart that talks about the 15 constituencies out of 18. NDC actually won all of them, but they dropped votes in 15.
That's
more than 80% of the constituencies in the Volta region dropped their vote or their support for the NPP. The NDC, they won all right, but they did not get, if you compare the same relative to 2016.
That's for the 2020 election.
Exactly. Their vote share in the 2020 election relative to that of 2016 was low in 15 of them. There were 2 constituencies, Afajato South and I think one of the other constituencies that improved their vote for the NDC. But Ketu North, Ketu South, who talk about all of them, they actually dropped their support for the NDC in the 2020 general election. There was one constituency that did not change in terms of how they voted in 2016 versus how they voted in 2020. This, for me, is what I was talking about. So we know of the 15 that dropped their vote for the NDC, or NDC had a decline in the share of vote. Now, we decided to now glean the top 10 from that list of 15 constituencies. Now, that top 10, just look at it. I mean, it starts from Pando. Pando drops by 1.4 percentage points compared to 2016. Agotime dropped by 2.9. Anglo, 3.4. Adaklu. These are all traditional, green belt zones for the NDCs. 4.1. Ho West, 4.4. North Dai, 5.2. Keta North.
Yeah.
Ketu North. This is a big constituency for the NDC.
Course, yes.
Winning exactly.
A lot of vote in this particular.
Absolutely. It's just like your Menchia South or Bantama or Bekwai in the Ashanti region for the NDC. They draw by 5.2 percentage point. Keta itself draw by 6.8 percentage point. If you compare what the NDC got in 2020 versus 2016, that was very significant.
Yeah, very.
Achi North, 10.4. Now the big one for me is Hohoi, where they draw by 18.9 percentage points.
Wow.
Now I will show you the graph that tells the story of both Achi North and Hohoi, and I'm sure viewers will really understand how the NDC actually dropped. This is Achi North. Just look at it from 2012 to 2016. NDC used to get 90.1% of the total valid vote cast, as against 8.1%. That was 2012 when John Dramani Mahama came onto the ballot for the first time. Now 2020, just look at how we are seeing this.
Almost 20.
MPP has now moved from 8.1 to 19.7. Very, very significant. And as you can see, the gap was really wide in 2012 and 2016. But just like you're trying to do, very close in the 2020 election. So going into this year's election, this is the outlook for, Achi North. Achi North, interesting, but let me show you the last one, Hohoi. And Hohoi, we are trying to look at it from 1996, because this is a traditional, constituency in the Volta region. Very interesting. And just like Achi North, Hohoi is predominantly NDC.
Yeah.
But the story is that as of 1996, they used to give NDC 94.3% of the total valid vote cast, as against 5.1% for the MPP. Now the story is changing. Yeah. The reason why we are saying Volta region, some of the constituencies are becoming less green, is because of the drop in some of these numbers. 94.3, now we are talking about 69.4.
That's huge.
Huge drop.
Yeah.
Now just look at, in just 2 election periods, NDC drops from 82.5 to 69.5, losing more than 10 percentage points. In fact, close to 20 percentage points. That is really significant. Not just the NDC on a decline, but see what is happening at the blue side. Yeah. You can see MP exactly. Almost. It's there already. 30% in the previous election, which is the 2020 election. They've been able to move from 5.1% of the vote cast to 29.8%. And as you can see, the gap is really closing in Hohoi. I don't know the magic they are doing there, but it's, Achi North, Achi South, Hohoi are all interesting places or constituencies that we are really looking at in the upcoming election. And so, I mean, if you're looking at the Volta region, it's still the vote bank of the NDC.
Right.
They hold that constituency, but the story the data is trying to
figure
exactly is that it's not the same as let's say as it used to be 1996. Absolutely, and this for me is interesting going into this year's election.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll provide this most screen. Window dressing the campaign, and control. Acquire a woman here. What people the man not assembly wanted to be correct to me people, so I know I have a bawa.
Esi pa. China anymore. Oyi dia china anymore to hɔ no na hwɛ anymore.
Ai, and a folk now almost quarter here, and operation almost and you move shake it John. That is the that will go who be war and the Mahama baby. And then energy, it already the buy but MPP message not I think but I never watch me here. The system no the Pia man for the Minia, maybe Crano, Ashanti man for the poor Araba, and the 4 poor full share. Because we was Ashanti for near so, he's a Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, or many are so not done for Papa. Namika Yawa, that was up ahead of him. Over commission near Manu Baby. So when you be a madam for no what you could see Boafo. If you say baby in one banya, what the project Yaba, what commission in the best Udenya Ufo so news wa Yebeka, Nanado Afaha, Nanado Afaha, na project no, with the question baby and na project. I said my best said Wahayana.
Naso catch them was he can pay the day. More the think room ha was he can pay the day.
He can pay the day. He can pay the day. And why yen come one day. She say was Sanya Baby for the Papana Yen dear. Dr. Mahmoud, almost soon named him say, NDC need track record the chess putting me to a big so. It is an honor, Papa be a friend, man, or the Papa. Now, former President John Dramani Mahama 25 economy, no, who's going to be to a year. I could say, and I'm so they was it, and you're compulsory. Now, if you are open, and was say, now, when we see billboard, no one who grew to Kudija as Susan. And I'm saying, it was a German competing with you. Ashanti Mahmoud, dear, basically, principally in Ashanti region, meaning this election, MPP and NDC, both got difference. Between 1.2 to 1.3 million. I will never be surprised. It could even be more. Say me see who no. Now, Alan so anti me fry. Yes, I feel now. Hopefully be I don't know when I'm happy about the campaign. It's just a way no Abutu. So that's why you not baffo. But one in the could be a moon kurano it wakano now I could deny. Wow, would deny you. From far what Yana buying, what is not from now who she? What is here? Was here a book could be a friend Japan, dear book could be will be, and I would yet now obviously no crying on the level of credibility cry, yes, I say, was your Alan spokesperson. Pinia, a year man and Quarania Corinsa for edges or Kupa one and Namuasio. A year, man. A year, come here, Corinzani, ye, Uncle, ye, and Abuna, a Corinza for Nazi Butru, not face, yes, as Rukuya, question is there. Hope saying, so I do go at MPP. When to me, I win MP, no, what do you mean is this, you know?
Dabi.
And I will post a groom. Every person to the Amalanche Martin. May say, who was Alanche Martin? The papa fear no and fear no woman. If you may come, who is Yano. Oh, my Titimuno. Oh, one part 20 petting and tell me, you are all one number. Maybe could see what for that man. So be one. When are they calling your election?
Shaping the nation.
One year grants work here, he NDC Wuno. Negama no Akano, on pair, Akaka Krabi on Botomwa, on the year from pair and since I have been told from to who. Now, baby, or now not there. Seriously, it is a quixotic.
And to Roya, okay, grand, what made you on Cranum that wouldn't be a friend in Dohru?
And so, who are here? And now, quite be our yeah, I said now and now. Who know not Emma kill no more there and since I was and then can son and it and then and since I will be a white one to take the school boys in near Bino and movie town and one point. No, what you know, I will see a gum into to be a boom no a copper mompany big. That's right. And no, I need to run so basically no. Now, Ibibia, Popo Consudo, and yet Domo Kuabi, your friend no to and no Onabum, any Kawawan, I say. Would you come one and Kwani for society and Kwani speedy pa? What that's the nominum? It's the I don't know, dear. Well, I need in terminal good dear, well, no better. So, it's the Alan.
Oma shishe nyuma.
Once ya kakra na aka no oma che wa wire wo kwa mu ade. Wo se di sitie no. Ai. Ebi ata na wanfo. Kakra na aka no feja. Na wan je ya wo. Demwa, wo ma ntimi amwa, wo ma ntimi anya. Na wo kopu obi ba de. Wo no na ma unya vote. Na to nkatamanso. We gina sa MPP pa wo ntimi anwen ne kureda. Na de ye tu na free the constituency. He will tu ni free or no. And yeah, one be near ye. What I'm say what to promise you know, now when they do you will say lightweight. Nature says, any pan no said they won't bet me a credibility. If you say, hold see by your husband and then hold see by a hin will be good. Possibly pro NDC FM stations here or Babanena. Oba one of the Casa Tirano. Any pay bit ASA. Why it's here. Many Americans said, net. Ubia fan work near Vietong. The decision to vote has already been taken. Now, I'm saying if Alan. Sɛdeɛ mi kusi bu apu ho no minua cheda ebetimi atwalan
Ora kusi bu afoti enka ya na lie no e break kakra ye de enkomo no ba na wi e de na ma wo kasa cheda betimi asan ora lan kyerematen
me cheda Alan susu miti bi a wo mo ye lo obo ho o di unu kuma si ube hu bo me ko ye Alan fo no no mo ye miensa ena na cheda no susu ye enan enti cheda kan one person miti no mo frɛ no
wenu bi na wenu bi miensa
ai
Oba kusi bu afo
do ko makawe mo mi ma je di hopes ni kanu abia ana be bi so di bo mo de bo e frem nkuku abo ba kokora
of Alan so me hu so kuma so tia ai abobo ya ibi mu na nipa bi enu miensa bi kan ho na onam kuma si kuro mu a o ye campaign kakra ne yellow no na no so ye kakra ye nti Oguso. At certain point in time, no, Alan, no, I am a in fact, to be away free MPP, Muhammad, I am a Yapan, Alan Quadrutremati. The reason being that they say, and more would no, honestly, someone, Mimi could see Buafo. Me catch them when Nama Mati. Says one, Mano, maybe could see Buafo and Nam in a pier. In the worst scenario, I could have been a vice president of Ghana. And yes, I'm one to be. Kufuor, a leverage crime man. And my wobble, Quano, at the say, Caneno. And number and Cassie Wumpa, oh, mammy, a and Cassini in a hand or the asher will noom. The mean we are not say, where you won't Cassay Marco. I will be never to say, and Cassay, you know. Now, I mean to be now will complain, and I'm non Cassay. You could for obeying him. What work I am, Bazado, a cabinet minister, power and watcher. In few dunum. Another dank idea. So a cabinet minister crying for no no so sir. It had in a war. Said the Citiano, Wabba, Yakoto Wabba. Alan had opportunity to become a running mate. And that would have been better. And you're there in a basa. And your foot to a went yan. Anna ayo no anabin. To me, said the doctor Mahmoud Baumia running mate ya bibia